Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to a reading of the Bible. We are in Zechariah, and going to attempt to finish Zechariah today, chapters 11 through 14. So here we go. Chapter 11. Open thy doors, O Lebanon, that the fire may devour the cedars. Excuse me. My glasses, which would be probably the foundation of a building. A howl for a tree where the cedar is fallen, because the mighty are spoiled. Howl, O ye oaks of Bashan, for the forest of the vintage is come down. There is a voice of the howling of the shepherds, for the glory is spoiled. The voice of the roaring of young lions, for the pride of Jordan is spoiled. Thus saith the Lord my God, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they who sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. For I will no more pity the inhabitants of the land, saith the Lord. For lo, I will deliver the men, every one into his neighbor's hand, and into the hand of his king. And they shall smite the land out, and out of their hand I will not deliver them. I will feed the flock of slaughter, even you, poor flock. And I took unto me two staves, the one I called Beauty, and the other I called Ban. 3 shepherds also I cut off in 1 month, and my soul loathed, and their soul also abhorred me. Then said I will not feed you, that dieth. That which dieth, let it die. And that which is to be cut off, let it be cut off. And let the rest eat, everyone the flesh of another. I took my staff, even Beauty, and I cut it asunder, that I might break my covenant with which I had made with all the people. It was broken in that day, and so the poor of the flock that waited upon me knew that it was the word of God, the word of the Lord. I said unto them, If ye think good, give me my price, and if not, forbear. So they weighed for my price 30 pieces of silver. That's a prophecy of the betrayal of Jesus by Judas Iscariot. The Lord said unto me, Cast it unto the potter of goodly price that I was prized at of them. And I took the 30 pieces of silver and cast them to the potter in the house of the Lord. Then I cut asunder mine other staff, even Ban, that I might break the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. The Lord said unto me, Take unto thee yet the instruments of a foolish shepherd. For lo, I will raise up a shepherd in the land, who shall not visit those that be cut off, neither shall seek the young one, nor heal that which is broken, nor feed that which standeth still, but he shall eat the flesh of the fat, and tear the claws in pieces. Woe to the idle shepherd, that who leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm, and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean, dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. To the idle shepherd. Verse 17 of 11. Woe to the worthless shepherd. Okay, worthless shepherd. Okay. Chapter 12. The burden of the word of the Lord for Israel, saith the Lord, who stretcheth forth the heavens and layeth the foundation of the earth, and formeth the spirit of man within them. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about, when they shall be in the siege both against Judah and against Jerusalem. In that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth shall be gathered together against it. In that day, say the Lord, I will smite every horse with astonishment, and his rider with madness. And I will open my eyes upon the house of Judah, and will smite every horse of the people with blindness. The governors of Judah shall say in their heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength, and the Lord of hosts their God. In that day will I make the governors of Judah like a hearth of fire among the wood, and like a torch of fire in a sheath. And they shall devour all the people round about, and on the right hand and on the left. And Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem. The Lord also shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. In that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he who is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as God, as the angel of the Lord before him. Now, that could be Jesus, the angel, even though it's not could be as the angel of the Lord before them. The house of David shall be as God, as the angel of the Lord before them. That could be Jesus during the millennial kingdom. It shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace, excuse me, and of supplications, and they shall look upon me whom they have pierced. And they shall mourn for him as one mourneth for his only son, and shall be in bitterness for him, as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn. So highlight that verse. That's a prophecy to us. Look on him whom they have pierced. That's verse 10. In that day, let me go to Zechariah 10. Where is that? Zechariah 12:10, I'm sorry. Oh, also Haggai 2:22. Haggai 2:22. Zechariah quotes Haggai. That's interesting. I will overthrow the throne of kingdoms, and I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen, and I will overthrow the chariots and those who ride in them, and the horses and their riders shall come down, everyone by the sword of his brother. Oh, that's Haggai 2:22. It's a footnote, comparative verse there. And what would be the comparative verse for that one? And Daniel 2:44, Micah 5:10. Okay. Okay, in that day, verse 11 of chapter 12, Zechariah, in that day shall there be a great mourning in Jerusalem, as the mourning of Padav Rimmon in the valley of Magadan, Magadan, Armageddon, or valley of Megiddo. The land shall mourn, and every family apart, the family of the house of David apart, their wives apart, the family of the house of Nathan apart, Nathan the prophet, and their wives apart, the family of the house of Levi apart, and their wives apart, the family of Shemuel apart, and their wives apart. All the families that remain, every family apart, and their wives apart. Chapter 13 of Zechariah. In that day there shall be a fountain open to the house of David and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem for sin and for uncleanness. It shall come to pass in that day, say the Lord of hosts, that I will cut off the names of the idols out of the land, and they shall no more be remembered. And also I will cause the prophets and the unclean spirit to pass out of the land. It shall come to pass that when any shall prophesy, then his father and his mother, he beget him, shall say unto him, Thou shalt not live, but thou speakest lies in the name of the Lord, and his father and mother who beget him shall thrust him through. excuse me, with a sword, probably, when he prophesied. So thrusting through 13:4, the 13:3. Okay, let's back to Deuteronomy. Verse 4 of chapter 13. Shall come to pass in that day that the prophet shall be ashamed every one of his vision when he hath prophesied, neither shall they wear a rough garment to deceive. But he shall say, I am no prophet, I am a husbandman, for man taught me to keep cattle from my youth. One shall say unto him, what are these wounds in thine hands? Then he shall answer, those with which I was wounded in the house of my friend. Awake, O sword, against my shepherd and against the man who is my fellow, saith the Lord of hosts. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered, and I will turn mine hand upon the little one. Smite the shepherd, and they might scatter. Well, that was a prophecy. Jesus, I believe Jesus said that in the Garden of Gethsemane. Strike the shepherd, smite the shepherd. That's verse 7. And the sheep shall scatter. See if there's a companion verse for that. Verse 7. Isaiah 40:11. John 10:30. John 10:30. Verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver and is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. And they shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my God. Chapter 14, the final chapter of Zechariah. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. Where I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the remaining or residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations. That's when he fought in the day of battle. His feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west. And there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall move toward the north, half of the mountain shall move toward the south. So Jesus is coming down. This is his physical second coming after the tribulation. So when he comes down, he's going to personally come down, touch the Mount of Olives in Jerusalem, and the mountain will be split in half. It shall cleave in the midst of the mountain, the midst or middle of the mountain, okay, toward the east and toward the west. There shall be a great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the north. So it will do this. So this is the mountain of Olives, Mount of Olives. So it will go here, but then it will do this. Okay. It'll do this. Boom. Side view. That. That's how I see, according to this verse, which is verse 4 of 14, Zechariah. Verse 5. Ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azal. Yea, ye shall flee, like as ye fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah. And the Lord my God shall come, and all the saints with thee. It shall come to pass in that day that the light shall not be clear nor dark, but it shall be one day which shall be known to the Lord, not day nor night. It shall come to pass that at evening time, it shall be light. So the sun will the sun will not set by that on that particular day. And the moon will not shine either. So say if it's what 12 hours away from 12 hours and 12 hours apart, 12-hour difference in Jerusalem, give it to them. Right now it is 5:20, 5:25. If it's 12 hours in difference in Jerusalem, it's 5:25, 5:30 in the morning. So if Jesus comes back and lands on Mount of Olives, it will be like when Joshua asked the sun to stand still. That's what's going to be like. If you remember Joshua asking God to let the sun stand still, which means don't set, to where it is still light, even though it's supposed to be evening. That's what's going to happen here, according to verse 5. I believe I got that correct. Verse 6. There shall one day which shall be known, verse 6, 7, in that day that the living waters, verse 8, it shall be in that day where night does not come. In that day the living waters shall go out from Jerusalem, half of them toward the former sea, and half of them toward the hinder sea. In summer and in winter shall it be. The Lord shall be king over all the earth, and in that day shall there be one Lord, and his name is one. All the land shall be turned as a plain from Geba to Rimmon, south of Jerusalem. It shall be lifted up and inhabited in her place, and Benjamin's gate, from Benjamin's gate unto the place of the first gate, unto the corner gate, and from the tower of Hananael unto the king's wine presses. Men shall dwell in it, and there shall be no more utter destruction, but Jerusalem shall be safely inhabited. There shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people who have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. While they stand upon their feet, the flesh shall consume away. Their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and the tongue shall consume away in their mouth. So it's like the Mummy, the first Mummy movie with Brendan Fraser, how Imhotep, played by Arnold Vosloo, when he was sucking the life essence of a victim to restore his original look. The skin will be taken out, the skin will be dissolved, and it will be like a skeleton. Okay, that's what's going to happen here in verse 12. Verse 13, it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from the Lord shall be among them. And they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. And Judah shall fight at Jerusalem. And the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold, silver, and apparel, in great abundance. So shall be the plague of the horse, of the mule, of the camel, of the donkey, of all the beasts that shall be in these tents, as this plague. It shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which have come against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. It shall be that whosoever will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. If the family of Egypt go not up and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen who come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles. This shall be the punishment of Egypt, the punishment of all nations that come not up to come not. This shall be the punishment of Egypt, verse 19, and the punishment of all the nations which do not come up to keep the feast of the tabernacles. In that day shall there be upon the bells of the horses holiness unto the Lord, all in caps. And the pots of the Lord's house shall be like the bowls before the altar. Yea, every pot in Jerusalem and in Judah shall be holiness unto the Lord of hosts. And all they who sacrifice shall come and take of them and see therein. And in that day there shall be no more the Canaanite in the house of the Lord of hosts. So that is Zechariah, the final finale of Zechariah part 2. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I will title it the Second Coming of Christ. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Bye bye.